have any questions or remarks or something? Yes.
My question is to both of you. I like to ask what you think are the most important aspects of Beethoven's sonatas in general, as opposed to other sonatas.
This is a very difficult thing. I mean,
I don't think you can, frankly, I don't think you can answer that question. Music is not about pointing out different elements. Music, a work of music, is about integrating all the elements. If you are able to say, this is a very rhythmical thing, this is a very emotional part, this is a very technical part, this is a very atmospheric part, you are not making music. You are only maybe producing some, could be also very interesting and very beautiful sounds. The difference between just sound and music is that when you make music, everything has to be integrated, and that you are not able to detect the different elements. I think that you must always think in music. Music is about integration. This is why it is such a sad fact that there is no music education in the schools, because a child that learns from early on to really make music learns about integration, learns about how all the different elements are connected. He learns about the fact that there is no independent element, that tempo is not an independent element, that expression is not an independent element, that everything is constantly and permanently connected. I don't know of a better lesson in life than that.
I wanted to ask about your comment about the illusion of sound. At one point you said, believe that you can do a crescendo on one note. Now I know physically that's not possible, but it sure sounded like it happened. Can you talk about that aspect of sound, the illusion of sound?
But then it wouldn't be an illusion anymore.
yeah, that's right.
I play a little bit of piano, and that's why I'm asking.
When I was very young, if I can tell you a little personal anecdote. When I was very young, I think I must have been 14 at the time, I was taken to play for none other than Vladimir Horowitz. And I was very unhappy about the fact, because since my childhood, I had been the greatest Rubinstein fan. And Rubinstein knew my parents since the time my mother was pregnant with me. And so since the day I came into this world, this was it for me, you know, and to go and see Horowitz was, you know. So I went already, you know, in a negative frame of mind. And I was 14 and probably very childish, even more so than now. And I played for him. And he said some nice things, and he said some critical things. And at the end of the afternoon, he said something which I have never forgotten. He says, you know, you must always have will. I thought, what, will job? No, will, of course. Will. In other words, you must want. It's not enough to know there's a crescendo. It's not enough to do the crescendo. You must want. You must have the will to do that. And if you have the will to express things, to bring everything that you know and feel to this expression, and you have knowledge and are conscious of the laws of nature and the laws of the functioning of sound, then you create the illusion. I can explain that this has to be the crescendo and this has to be because of the harmony and because of the rhythm for thousands of reasons. I can really explain Russia, but I cannot teach to him the level of intensity of his relationship with the music, how much he will want to. Will he be able to forget at the moment of the crescendo that he had a fight with his girlfriend, or that his mother didn't bring him the groceries, or that? Will he be able to make complete, forget all of that, and have a absolutely burning intensity for the crescendo? This you cannot teach, and this is why you cannot teach what you would call the miracle of the music, because this is beyond the physics. To reduce that to the level of the practical, obviously, if you have a chord on the piano that you want, where you want to create the illusion of the crescendo, you must imagine that the piano is doing the crescendo, and then when you play the next note, that has to be the result of your imaginary crescendo. But if you have a negative way of thinking and say, the piano cannot make a crescendo, you will never express that. But if you play this, and then you play this, and you really imagine this crescendo, then you will play the second chord as if it was the result of the crescendo. I tried my best. It's a very difficult question. Yes.
The late Beethoven sonatas, would you interpret them more or less towards the classical line or towards the romantic line?
I think that the difference between middle and late Beethoven is not a difference between classical and romantic in any way. The difference between middle and late Beethoven, if it can be put in a few sentences, I think has to do with the breaking down of so many elements. You don't have these long phrases. Also, it does away with a conventional idea of what sounds well. If you look carefully, I think you will find that late Beethoven very often ignores the middle register of the piano. It's always like this. You know, the extremes. Late style in Beethoven does away with the theory that one mellows with age. No, this is very important. It's very important. It's as if there is a sort of obstinacy, an obstinacy in the sense that it does not require even continuous musical argument. That is enough to start something and then to go somewhere else. It is the abruptness, which is anything but mellow and is anything but romantic. It's as if he doesn't want to allow himself any acceptance of anything with age. And he's obstinate and he gets on with it. And he breaks everything. Of course, you have moments of great serenity, like in the last movement of Opus 111, or the last movement of Opus 109. For instance, in the Arioso of 110, in the last movement, you know, if you listen to the music like this, this could be out of middle Beethoven. There's nothing late about it. But because of the content that it comes in it, I would play that much less fluid. I would, I would play it less clearly. It is more broken, even within the long line. It is more broken in the feeling of it, and you get this very extreme abrupt changes of dynamics, of register, of mood in late Beethoven. Sorry, that's the best I can do. No.